I'm Dr. Jeff, and these are my fitness tips. Welcome to this video about planks. Planks are such an amazing exercise because they do wonders to work your core muscles. They don't just work one isolated core muscle like your abs, but rather they work your core from your upper legs, your quads, your hamstrings, all the way up to your shoulders. In this video, we're going to discuss common mistakes as well as some variations that you can do to get better at doing your planks. Let's start by talking about how you get into the plank position. It's pretty much just like a push-up. You want to start on your hands and knees, go down to your forearms and have your elbows directly below your shoulders, and then get off your knees and make sure that your legs are straight and together. Lastly, you want to make sure that you're keeping a tight core and have your pelvis tilt a little bit forward to shorten your abs. Now you're in the plank position and you're ready to get stronger. We're now going to talk about 7 tips that you can use to make sure that you're using the perfect form on your planks. Let's get into it. Tip number 1, make sure that your legs are straight and together. If your legs are bent a little bit, you're going to be relaxing your abs and taking some of the pressure off your abdominal muscles throughout this exercise, and you won't be getting the most out of it. You won't be getting the strongest that you can. Also, if your legs are a little bit apart, you're also making it easier on yourself and you're not working those leg muscles as hard and as efficiently as you should be. So in the plank position, make sure that your legs are straight and together. Tip number 2 is tilt your pelvis forward. Now the reason you're doing this is to shorten your ab muscles. Muscles only know how to do one thing, and that's get shorter or longer. Now you want to contract your ab muscles as well as you can from the bottom to the top. So if you're manipulating your body such that your abs are as short as possible, you'll be getting more out of this exercise. One of the ways to do that is to tilt your pelvis forward. So do that as you're doing your planks. Tip number 3 has to do with your shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades is the bone behind your chest. You want to get that bone and push it forward. If you're doing this, you're also helping your abs to shorten, and you're really making sure that your upper abs are working hard throughout this exercise. So make sure that your shoulder blades, your scapulas, are being pushed forward throughout this exercise. The next tip is not with our shoulder blades, but with our shoulders. You don't want to shrug your shoulders up and have your shoulders come closer to your ears. If you're doing this, you're making your trapezius muscles work harder, and your trapezius muscles are a bit stronger. This is not what you want to do throughout this exercise, and it's not the right way to be most efficient and effective. So have those shoulders come down a little bit and be relaxed as they're down, not close to your ears. The next tip is to not have your lower back sag. If your lower back sags, this might be easier for you because you're letting your stomach muscles work less hard, but you're straining your lower back, and this can very easily lead to back injury. So make sure that your body is as straight as a wooden board and don't let your lower back sag at all. The next tip has to do with your breathing. Now many people forget to breathe as they're doing high intensity exercises. You might be holding your breath or taking very quick shallow breaths thinking that you're being more effective this way. This is not true. You want to take slow, deep breaths as you're doing this exercise. This allows the proper amount of oxygen to get to those muscles and makes these muscles more efficient and work more effectively. This is how you get stronger. So make sure as you're in your planks, you're focusing on your breathing and taking slow, deep breaths. Lastly, a lot of people sag their neck because they're getting tired. You don't want your neck to sag to the ground, and you certainly don't want to lean on your head as another point of support. Have that neck straight, have those ears straight with your shoulders, and make sure that your neck does not sag. It might be tough at first, but if you keep practicing the proper form, the back of your neck muscles will get stronger and it will become easier for you. Let's talk about 2 variations that you can do to make this exercise a little bit easier or tougher. Variation number 1 is very similar to what we talked about in the video about push-ups. you can do planks on your knees instead of your feet. Now, you can do this if you feel that the normal plank position on your feet is too tough on you, but another reason to do this is if you want to make sure that you're perfecting this position. So you can start on your knees and make sure that your form is absolutely perfect before going ahead and advancing to planks on your feet. Now, if you want to make the plank a little bit tougher on you, you can move your forearms away from your feet. Move them up further and further to make the exercise tougher and tougher. Now, beware that you're doing this properly and still not sagging with your lower back and not giving up on yourself, cheating in other ways like I mentioned in the tips section. So if you can do this with moving your forearms further and further, go ahead and try it, but make sure that the quality of your exercise is not getting hurt while you're making it harder on yourself. All right, let's talk about 3 variations of this exercise that you can do to spice it out a little bit. Variation number 1 is called hollow body, and what you want to do is create a hollow space below your chest. Now, what this does is it shortens your abdominal muscles and makes them work even harder. It's very tough to hold the plank in this position, but if you can do it, it's a really good variation that you can add to your exercise. The way you do this is by pushing your shoulder blades forward even more than you did originally. This is the variation called hollow body. Variation number 2 is when you take either your legs or your arms and you lift them one at a time. Now, while you're doing this variation, it's important to keep your core as stable as possible. So aim for as little movement as you can while you're raising your leg or your arm off the ground. Always remember to work both sides equally in order to maintain that balance. So if you're working your left arm, make sure that you work your right arm just as much afterwards. Raising your arms off the ground in your plank helps strengthen your shoulder muscles and your upper back. Raising your legs off the ground, again, and make sure that you balance your left and right here too, it helps strengthen your core from the back side of your body, so your hamstrings, your glutes, and your lower back. That's variation number 2, taking one arm or one leg off the ground one at a time. Variation number 3 is when you bring your leg one knee at a time to the opposite arm. Now this is different because you're bringing your legs at the front side of your body instead of raising them backwards. So here you're working your stomach muscles in a different way. Instead of having a static exercise where they're not moving, by doing these knee raises, you're working your stomach muscles also in a dynamic way. This helps work it a little bit differently, and it's quite beneficial to this exercise. So that's variation number 3, having your knees come one at a time toward the opposite elbow. I hope you enjoyed this video about planks and that you learned something that you can incorporate into your exercise regimen. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel. We got a number of different videos coming out, trying to put out once a week with fitness tips, diet tips, and if you have any questions, be sure to write them down in the comments so that I can then do a video about them and answer your questions. Follow me on Instagram or on Facebook. We got a great conversation where you can help support others or ask for advice from part of the community. So be a part of that community. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.